Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also doing good. It is December. Holy cow, what happened?
I know.
I have to turn the page on the calendar. Look at that. Look how nice and fresh that one is. There's no scribbling on it. There's no writing.
Give it a day.
I know. Yeah, maybe 2 days. Hey, coming up later in the program, I'll be visiting with Jeremy Dauber, and he's got a book called JewishComedy. And it's like the serious side. Something like that is a subtitle. I don't remember what it is. Something about serious.
Okay.
Serious business, or I don't remember what it was. But it's, I think he seems like a fun guy, and I'm excited to chat with him about this because I didn't realize how many comedians are Jewish. There's quite a few. There's quite a correlation there. So I'm excited to find out what his research has shown us on that. So that's coming up later in the show. I got a quote for you today. This one is from former President Obama. It says, "Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek." So there's our quote for the day on this first day of December. It's a Friday. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
We're in that special time of year, one of my favorite times when we celebrate with family and friends. But often that celebration involves alcohol, so please have non-alcohol options available. Sadly, too many times that's not an option, and that can lead to drinking and driving, and much worse. If you're having a party, have a plan. And remember, if you or someone you know needs help kicking a drinking problem, there's a toll-free number you can call, 800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, December the 1st. Today is Bifocals at the Monitor Liberation Day.
What?
Huh? I wonder if that's about wearing bifocals on a computer monitor?
I
have
don't
no
know.
idea. Christmas Lights Day. So today is the first acceptable day to put up Christmas decorations. Yeah, right. They've been up for a week or so at least. It's also Day Without Art, Eat a Red Apple Day, Faux Fur Friday, National Pie Day. Ooh, Pie Day Friday. I like this. Let's do it. It's also World AIDS Day, Wear a Dress Day, and I think that's it. There's other stuff in here. All these are for the whole month, like National Tie Month. Did you know this was Tie Month?
I did not.
Tomato.
You used to wear ties all the time. You
did.
never wear them anymore.
You know, I haven't worn a tie in I don't know how long. It's been a long
I
time.
know, and you have a lot
I
of really
don't.
nice ties.
I don't dress up so much anymore because I'm in here. Nobody sees me. I mean, what's the point? I can wear a tie to bed when I go to sleep at night. That doesn't make a lot of sense either, though, does it? It is so many things this month. Write a Friend Month, all of that. Anyway, get out there and celebrate any way you'd like to on this Friday, December the 1st.
John and Heidi.
Are you paying a bundle to have the channels you want? And even more to have a DVR to watch the shows when you want to watch them? ChannelSurferTV.com wants to help. We have a few options that could save you 45% with Dish TV. Call 1-800-818-3967. See how much you can save by cutting the cable. Plus, we can help you watch on your mobile device. Call 1-800-818-3967. This is a limited time offer that can change fast. Call 1-800-818-3967 or learn more at ChannelSurferTV.com.
And this is your brain on drugs. Oh, wait a minute. We're not ready for that yet. That's coming up here in a bit. I was reading this story here, so I kind of got into it. Now, we'll do that in a bit. But first, if you're decorating, today is Christmas Lights Day or whatever it was. If you're decorating with old bulbs, they say you might actually be money ahead getting the new LEDs and getting rid of the old ones, depending on what kind you have. According to Money Magazine, 10 strands of lights, 8 hours a day for a month will ding your electric bill just 72 cents if they're the new LEDs, but $7.20 for regular. And that's if you're using
$7, and you have
if you're using the mini bulbs.
Right, but if you have to go out and spend $300 on new bulbs to save $7, are you really ahead at the end of the?
Well, if they're all
and
tangled
then they're
up
all
anyway,
going to burn out in a month and a half or 2 months anyway. So
I like the looks of the new
why on
ones.
earth
I like
would
the
you
looks
do it?
because it looks so much better too. They're so dang cool. I don't know. Coming up, we got your brain on drugs. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs for real this time. An unidentified man and woman who crashed into a tree while having a little nookie behind the wheel.
Oh my gosh! While moving.
Yeah. They were drunk and having some nookie behind the wheel.
Gosh.
Oh, it gets even better. Their 3-month-old baby was in the back seat. Yeah, hopefully taking a nap. Authorities say a man who was drunk and naked and having, let's just say,
Oh my gosh!
a good time with a woman, missed a curve and struck a tree. Witnesses told troopers both the man and the woman were naked when they left the vehicle. The unidentified man was arrested for felony driving under the influence, vehicular assault, and child endangerment. Police say
wow.
the man had 3 prior DUI convictions as well. No word on if the woman was charged with anything, so hopefully she was. The baby is fine, by the way, with the exception of years of therapy in the future when they find out what happened.
I cannot believe that.
That is redonkulous. I've got a link to the story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen. The New York-based National Board of Review has crowned Steven Spielberg's The Post as the best film of 2017. The 108-year-old organization, which comprises film enthusiasts, filmmakers, professionals, and academics, also named the film star, Tom Hanks, and the film star, Meryl Streep, as the top actor and actress. So that movie, I've not heard anything of it. Do you know what The Post is? Have you heard?
No.
You don't know anything? Do you think we're going to like The Post?
I doubt it.
Usually when the critics love it, we don't. I don't know why that is. But it's got Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, and Steven Spielberg. That is like a recipe for success in Hollywood. Tom Hanks, by the way, in every movie that he's in, isn't he just the greatest guy? Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen him in a role that you don't like him in? I've never seen Tom Hanks take a role that
no,
was
he
like
wouldn't. He doesn't
that was like
have
a bad
to.
guy.
No, he wouldn't.
He should be sometime. He should be the villain. I think he'd probably be a good villain, but that just would be so unexpected. Tom Hanks, he butchered all those people. Did you see that? I mean, you'd never see it coming. This has been your big screen, little screen, courtesy of ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
This is the time of year to wrap up one year and begin another. For many businesses, that means a new budget is coming soon. Now, if you have some funds left in your current year's budget, we can help you make that go far. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable. So let us help create a jingle for your business that you can use for years to come. If you have some funds left in the budget this year, we can help you get it done now. If you want to wait until the new year and the new budget, we can lock in a special rate now and you pay later. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. RadioReallyWorks.com. Now your scoop of the day. New Mexico-based Facebook user posted for sale an ad offering a, quote, slightly used coffin that was, quote, only used once. What?
What happened to the body that was in it? Maybe it was just used temporarily at the nursing home or at the funeral home.
At the nursing home.
until they cremated the body and put the ashes.
Well, the
in
ad
the
read, serious buyers only. This is a great deal. The coffin could have been had for $50. As it turns out, it was a hoax. It wasn't for real.
I would have probably answered that one.
Get one of those. What are we going to do with that? I don't know. Have one heck of a cool Halloween display. A Russian diplomat is warning that the situation in North Korea has become, quote, apocalyptic scenario. Oof, that's kind of scary.
They need to be taken down.
Well, I don't know. There's got to be somebody that, hopefully some grown-ups involved there. That would be a good thing. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are getting married. Do you know who Meghan Markle is?
She's an actress.
Do I know who that is? Would I know her in a
I
lineup?
don't know. No.
Would I be able to point her out?
No. I don't think so.
That's why this was originally in with the big screen, little screen, and I took it out of there because I was like, Prince Harry's not an actor, but apparently she is an actress. Well, I apologize for my ignorance. I have to say that a lot lately. Hey, First Lady Melania Trump slammed a Vanity Fair article that claimed that she did not want to be First Lady.
I know, I saw that.
What is that all about? Just leave the lady alone.
Everybody just needs to leave them alone and let them do
Take
their
a deep
jobs.
breath and just, enjoy the holidays, hopefully. Speaking of the holidays, after debuting their annual Holiday Cup earlier in November, it says earlier this month, but it was in November. It's December now. Starbucks is releasing another cup starting Tuesday, and it was probably this last Tuesday because I got this off the internet. I don't think it's next Tuesday. Anyway, the goal of the new design, which features a solid red cup with a big white heart and two hands stretched around it, is to encourage customers to recognize those who fill their heart and embody goodness in the holiday cup, and they're supposed to write that person's name in the heart of the cup. So it's like a little arts and crafts project. So there you go. I have not
been to a Starbucks in years.
You know, I had a meeting, I don't know when it was, a month ago, a week ago, 2 years ago, I don't know. It all kind of blurs. I had a meeting at one not too long ago, and I saw somebody did something that I thought was genius. They went into a Starbucks, and then you have to give them a name, and they write it on the cup, and the name that they had on the cup. Yeah, and then the person left, so they had to say, Bueller. And anybody over about 35 is smiling right now. Young people are like, what does that mean? Hey, an unidentified 61-year-old dude in Queens, New York, stabbed his girlfriend's brother last week during a fight over who to invite to Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Okay.
Says here, the siblings started fighting about Thanksgiving guests. The boyfriend allegedly grabbed a kitchen knife and stabbed the brother in the chest.
Wow.
Guy, by the way, he was 61. The brother is 54. He was originally taken to the hospital in stable condition, but his condition has deteriorated. Authorities say he's not expected to live.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the
now
situation
that guy's in all kinds
remains
of
under
trouble.
investigation. The boyfriend could be facing murder charges.
Absolutely.
If the girlfriend's brother dies.
And rightfully so.
You know, that kind of
ridiculous.
Makes our Dear John letters seem a lot more tame after all, doesn't it?
We need Dear John letters like this.
No, we don't. She wanted to invite somebody, and I stabbed her with a steak knife. No, don't do that. Hey, for those of you that want to read that article, I've got it on our Facebook page. Thanks for listening. This has been your Scoop of the Day on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
No more singing, please.
I'm trying to get everyone's attention to let them know that we made a list and we checked it twice.
Who made the list?
Okay, Heidi made a list, but I put it online to make it easy to find some of our favorite ideas for fun gifts.
These are my personal favorites. I have several of these items myself.
These are a few of our favorite things.
Oh my gosh.
You can see the entire list at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now, Jeremy Dauber. He is the author of a new book called Jewish Comedy, A Serious History. Mr. Dauber, how are you today?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me, John.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. Now, let's talk about this project. How long have you wanted to do this book, and what was it that kind of made you say, hey, I really got to do a book about this?
Well, I think there's a kind of way that I've wanted to do the project since I started teaching about this at Columbia University maybe almost 20 years ago. And, you know, I'd grown up with a lot of Jewish comedy. I had watched the movies and read the books, but I sort of said, you know, there's something serious here. There's something that has a long tradition that I could study, and people really seem to like learning about it. They like taking the bits that they knew and sort of connecting it to a larger tradition that went all the way back to the Bible. And so I said, you know, maybe there's a book in this. And a couple of years ago, I felt ready to write it. And so then I was off for the races.
You're the author of several other books on Jewish literature, but is this your first book on comedy?
It is my first book on comedy. The previous book I wrote was the biography of one of the great Jewish literary writers who was a sort of comic writer. He was Shalom Aleichem, who wrote the series of stories that would become Fiddler on the Roof. And I think he's a great humorist. But this is the first time I've really focused on comedy entirely. It was a lot of fun to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. When the subject is comedy, is it more difficult, do you feel, to try to make sure that, you know, that you keep things funny, or was that not necessarily the point of you trying to be funny, but just sharing what other people have done?
Well, no, I think you're right. That is really one of the dangers or the perils of writing a book about comedy, is that, especially for a larger audience and not just sort of a scholarly book, but something that's sort of vibrant and hopefully fun and entertaining, you want to both, you know, be with the joke and sort of give the jokes or the funny moments room to breathe, but at the same time kind of be serious about them and say, you know, here's why this is important in this story that I'm telling. And to sort of walk that tightrope was a lot of work, but also a lot of fun to try and make sure that I was doing correctly.
Again, our guest today is Jeremy Dauber. He is the author of a new book called Jewish Comedy, A Serious History. The book is available right now. We're going to throw a link to it on our social media to make it really easy to find as well. Now, I like the subtitle, A Serious History, because this is a very serious topic, and there are some very funny comedians that happen to be Jewish. When we get a chance to read this book, I think we find that there's more of a correlation rather than just what I said, just happen to be Jewish. What is that correlation, and why do you think that is?
Well, I think that one of the reasons that there were so many Jewish comedians in America, and at one point, probably 80% of American comedy was Jewish. Not as much anymore, but at one point in the 20th century. I think that, comedy is about sort of standing apart from sort of the majority culture and sort of looking at it in a kind of slightly askew way, right? And saying, I'm part of this, but I'm sort of not part of this, but I want to be part of it, I love it, but I feel a little different. And, Jews as a minority through the diaspora, and certainly in America, were a really good, really well-positioned to kind of make that comment. They were kind of accepted enough, and America was very accepting to Jews, but at the same time there was a feeling, well, are we a little different, and can we look at things a little differently? And that was sort of prime soil for the comic impulse to kind of grow.
As a big fan of comedy, there are many of my favorite comedians that happen to be Jewish. A lot of the time, their comedy doesn't really revolve around the fact that they're Jewish, does it?
No, I think that's exactly right. And, most of the book was focused on comedy that was sort of explicitly Jewish. It talked about Jewish things, or it was in conversation with Jewish historical events or Jewish texts. But there was a whole swath of comedy that I talk about in the book that really is about, am I being Jewish at all in my comedy if I'm a Jew and I write and say funny things? Is that Jewish comedy or not? And sometimes the answer is that it's not. Sometimes if someone's, last name is Goldberg, but they write a really good knock-knock joke, it's not really Jewish comedy, right? But there are other times when someone is sort of telling a story about what it means to be an insider or an outsider, that even if they don't happen to say anything Jewish, it still somehow feels to us like Jewish comedy, and part of the book is trying to examine why that is.
Wow, that's awesome. And now the book is available right now, and I see rave reviews online, so congratulations on your early success. I think you're going to do really well with this one.
Thank you so much. That means a lot, and thank you for having me on the program.
Absolutely. Again, our guest today has been Jeremy Dauber. He is the author of a new book. It is called Jewish Comedy, A Serious History. It's available right now, and to make it really easy to find, I've got a link to it at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
We're in that special time of year, one of my favorite times when we celebrate with family and friends. But often that celebration involves alcohol, so please have non-alcohol options available. Sadly, too many times that's not an option, and that can lead to drinking and driving, and much worse. If you're having a party, have a plan. And remember, if you or someone you know needs help kicking a drinking problem, there's a toll-free number you can call, 800-438-0380. That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline, 1-800-438-0380.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Catfish are the only animals that naturally have an odd number of whiskers.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Usually they have the same number on each side, what makes them an even number, but catfish have an odd number. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Facebook, Skype, and Twitter are all banned in China. So if you're trying to kick your Facebook addiction, maybe you head to China. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
95% of people text things they could never say in person. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I've seen people text things, and here's the funny thing. I remember being with somebody when they sent a very rude text message, and they hit send, and like 2 seconds later, their phone rang. And then they answered the phone, and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? I was like, wow, what a turnaround. Hey, I just got your text. Yeah, sorry about that.
I wouldn't have answered.
It wasn't you, was it? All right, this has been a couple of fun facts, courtesy of RadioSavings.com.
John and Heidi.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
No more singing, please.
I'm trying to get everyone's attention to let them know that we made a list and we checked it twice.
Who made the list?
Okay, Heidi made a list, but I put it online to make it easy to find some of our favorite ideas for fun gifts.
These are my personal favorites. I have several of these items myself.
These are a few of our favorite things.
Oh my gosh.
You can see the entire list at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
And it's time right now for the grandiloquent word of the day. You ever notice I do a stupid accent every time I say that?
I have noticed.
Why do
that,
I say
in
that?
fact.
Why do I do that? Is that
I don't know.
Is that annoying to you?
A little bit.
Okay, I'll keep doing it then. We're married, by the way. Not for much longer if I keep this up, I'm sure. Now, the grandiloquent word of the day is coddywomple. 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 Do you know what that means? Have you ever heard of coddywomple?
No.
It's a fun word to say. Try it once. Say coddywomple.
Coddywomple.
Doesn't that sound fun?
Sure. What does it mean?
It is a verb to travel purposefully toward an as yet unknown destination. Okay?
Okay.
Used in a sentence. I'm in the mood to coddywomple. I'll be back later. So to travel
So
purposely
just to,
toward
like our
an
daughter
as-
does, just to go for a drive. Nowhere in particular.
When I was a kid, we did that all the time. My dad we'd jump in the car, load up the whole family. We'd just drive. We'd end up one time we ended up in a different country. We really did.
That's fantastic.
We'd often end up in different states. It's kind of crazy. Coddywomple. It's your grandiloquent word of the day.
John and Heidi.
Are you paying a bundle to have the channels you want? And even more to have a DVR to watch the shows when you want to watch them? ChannelSurferTV.com wants to help. We have a few options that could save you 45% with Dish TV. Call 1-800-818-3967. See how much you can save by cutting the cable. Plus, we can help you watch on your mobile device. Call 1-800-818-3967. This is a limited time offer that can change fast. Call 1-800-818-3967 or learn more at ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Got a little weird news for you on a Friday. Julie Ganji, age 47, from Barrington, Illinois, was arrested for reporting her vehicle stolen.
But it
an
wasn't
SUV.
stolen.
She torched it.
Oh!
She reported her Infiniti QX70 stolen. What's an Infiniti QX70?
I don't know.
Sounds fancy,
She
whatever
probably
it is.
couldn't afford it, and that's why she did it.
Police found it about a mile and a half away from where she was, and it was on fire. During their investigation, they learned that she had recently purchased an X15 flamethrower,
Whoa!
which is legal in most of the U.S. I didn't know that. Police mentioned that to her. Ganji reacted to the report that her SUV was stolen and admitted to torching the vehicle. She's like, yeah, nobody stole it. I just burned it up.
I was going to interrupt quickly. I would like to add the X15 flamethrower to my Christmas list.
Would you? She turned herself in, by the way, and she got arrested for disorderly conduct, charged with arson, and filing a false police report. No motive was given, by the way. So I bet Heidi was right there. She probably just couldn't afford it. She was too busy spending money on fancy flamethrowers. I've got a link to it on our Facebook page. Weird news brought to you by radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Eric Rivers, age 24, is a bank robber who stopped during his getaway to do an on-camera interview with the news team. What?
Oh, wow.
A reporter from the CBS affiliate in Atlanta, Ashley Thompson, was out near an intersection in Georgia looking for people to do interviews about all the traffic at the intersection. Rivers walked past and she asked him, hey, you want to talk to me about all this traffic? He's like, yeah. So he pulled off his disguise.
Oh, my gosh.
And he gave an on-camera interview. Police said Rivers had just robbed a Chase Bank before the interview and believed he was in several other nearby banks scoping them out. Right after the interview, police said he went to a nearby Fidelity Bank. Police caught up with Rivers later that evening and arrested him. In total, police say he hit up 5 different banks and successfully robbed 2 of them. And in the midst of all of this, stopped and gave an on-camera interview to talk
That
about
guy
the traffic.
has got nerves of steel, man.
Yes, Eric Rivers, age 24. That guy, a lot of guts right there. Not a lot of brains, but a lot of guts. This has been your moment of duh.
John and Heidi.
This is the time of year to wrap up one year and begin another. For many businesses, that means a new budget is coming soon. Now, if you have some funds left in your current year's budget, we can help you make that go far. When you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable. So let us help create a jingle for your business that you can use for years to come. If you have some funds left in the budget this year, we can help you get it done now. If you want to wait until the new year and the new budget, we can lock in a special rate now and you pay later. Learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Got some good news coming your way in a bit. I wish I could say this was good news. after 2-month break, North Korea launches another missile. So they haven't launched a missile for 2 months, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue this week, launched another missile. I don't know exactly what's going on there. I for those of you who are prayerful people, maybe keep that in your prayers, because I think that could turn into a bad deal for all of us. Got some good news to get to. I like this story. Heidi sent it to me. We'll get to it here in a bit. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with some good news, and we got some good news here. This was sent to me from a young lady by the name of Heidi. Oh, that's you!
Yeah.
Thanks, Heidi.
You're welcome.
She's my wife. She's my right-hand girl. Was that the right way to say it? Right-hand man? Right-hand woman? That doesn't sound right. Right? She's my everything.
Anyway,
she's my
that's
everything.
the good news.
Always. The good news, do you remember this one? I'll give you the headline. You tell me if you remember it. Goodwill employee finds almost $40,000 in a purse.
Oh, yeah.
Quote, I thought I was being pranked. Can you imagine? Yeah. That would just be unbelievably amazing. Kendall Keys, a Goodwill employee at a location in Long Island, New York, back in August, was doing her job sorting out some bags full of donations when she came across a heavy purse. Picked it up to inspect it. She said, I thought it would be funny if there was money in this purse. Turns out there was $39,000 worth.
Insane.
Her sort of prediction came true when she opened it to find all this money. She said, I honestly thought I was being pranked.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. It says most people would think they were being pranked if there was about $40,000 in a purse. She showed the money to the rest of her coworkers who were astounded by the discovery. There were envelopes filled with bills that ranged from $100 bills to all the way down to $1 bills. Goodwill didn't know what to do until they found an address on one of the envelopes. A representative of Goodwill went to the address to find a neighbor, said the person who lived there recently had died. The lady that lived at the address, however, had a grandson, and they were able to get in touch with him. How cool is that?
That is insane.
They figured out that the 101-year-old grandmother had this in her possession, and it was passed on to Goodwill accidentally as a donation.
When they cleaned out her home.
So,
wow.
For her honesty, by the way, the young lady who found the $39,000, guess how much she got?
How much?
$3,900, 10% of the money. They
That's
said, you know what, we'd like to
sweet.
give this to you. Also, the CEO of Goodwill in the New York area organized a special event to recognize her for her honesty. I think that's really cool.
That's fantastic, because she wouldn't have had to have said anything.
She could have just said, I'd like to buy this purse. I really like it a lot. It's really cool that she did what she did, because that's the right thing to do. I've got a link to the story on our Facebook page. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.